Okay, think about this for a second. Something you do all the time, every moment, without even thinking. Your breath.
Right. Completely automatic, mostly.
But what if that simple act, breathing in and out, holds like a hidden key, a way to unlock energy, maybe feel better, connect deeper? Have you ever really stopped and thought about the potential just sitting there in your own breath?
Well, that's exactly what we're getting into today. We're going to take a deep dive into, well, the huge significance of breath.
And we're using the teachings of Sheikh Nurjan Miramati as our guide here.
Yeah, specifically looking at transcripts from YouTube videos where he talks about Sufi meditation and really unpacks the power in breathing.
Right. So our mission today, pretty straightforward. Pull out the main ideas from Sheikh Nurjan on how breath actually helps us. You know, how we can maybe cultivate it better and what kind of impact it has on life, energy, spiritual vibe, all that stuff.
Think of it as a shortcut to understanding this really vital part of well-being and spiritual practice.
Okay, let's do it. Where do we start? The beginning, the origin.
Yeah, let's start there. Sheikh Nurjan's take on how humans were created is pretty interesting. It's not just, physical stuff.
Right.
He talks about this specific moment when the secret of that divine breath was blown into the clay.
Wow. Okay, so not just air, something more.
Exactly. A divine spark, he suggests. Something sacred, put right into us.
So that's what separates us, makes us more than just, the clay.
That's the idea. He says it elevates us to an honored creation. It's this breath that gives us that status, that inherent nobility.
A direct link, then, between breath and our essence.
Precisely. And Sheikh Nurjan really hammers this home, understanding, appreciating, mastering the breath. Yeah. It's fundamental.
Fundamental for what exactly?
For reaching what he calls Quora power. And let's be clear, this isn't like worldly power over people.
Right, not about control.
No, it's more like tapping into your own divine strength, that presence inside you. The breath is key to accessing that.
An inner power source.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he warns about not focusing on breath too, right?
Oh, definitely. He says if your breathing is off, if it's shallow or you neglect it, any spiritual work you try to do will be shaky.
Like building a house on dodgy foundations.
That's exactly his analogy. If the base is weak, the structure won't hold. Same with spiritual progress if the breath isn't right.
Makes sense. So if it's this important, this divine, how do we actually engage with it? Consciously, I mean.
Well, he talks about conscious breathing as understanding our zik, which is like remembrance of the divine.
Okay, like mindfulness.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Recognizing that remembrance is happening with every single breath. In and out. It's not just automatic.
You got to tune into it.
You do. And then there's this idea of breathing in tune with the ocean of Hu. Ha.
Hu. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. In Sufism, Hu, that's H-E-T-U,
yeah,
or Ha in Arabic, is seen as like the sound of the divine essence, the primal vibration.
And Sheikh Nurjan says our breath resonates with this ocean. He even points out hearing Hu in strange places, like commercials, suggesting it's everywhere.
He uses an analogy too, right? The power lines.
Yeah, like power lines humming with Hu, suggesting all energy deep down comes from this vibration.
Interesting.
And it gets deeper. Hu is also called the zikr of silence.
Silence. So not making a sound?
Not just quiet, it's more like a deep inner peacefulness, stillness, where you can really feel that divine vibration. By getting quiet inside, you connect to Hu.
So it's less about physical hearing and more about an inner listening.
Exactly. An inner spiritual sense that lets you perceive the reality of this zikr of Hu. It connects your physical being back to its divine origin through the breath.
Okay, so there's this profound divine connection, but does he talk about more sort of immediate benefits? Like for the body?
Absolutely. He really emphasizes breath as a cleansing force.
Cleansing how?
He describes how breathing brings energy into the lungs, and this energy actively pushes out negativity. It purifies the body, cleanses the blood.
So it's not just oxygen in, CO2 out. It's energy work too.
Very much so. A continuous inner purification. Like you said, spring cleaning, but happening constantly.
And the blood part?
He says that purified blood returning to the heart is the essence of our way. It's the cycle. Take in divine energy via breath, expel the negative.
Wow. It sounds so simple, but he's saying don't underestimate it.
Exactly. Don't overlook this basic function. When you do it with awareness, with intention, it unlocks things.
But it's not always easy, right? He talks about some kind of struggle, an inner battle.
Yeah, that's a key part of his teaching. He describes negative energy coming up from the earth through our legs.
From the earth, like literally.
In a spiritual sense, he says it can even cause physical issues, discomfort. He links the stomach area to the earth element, representing material desires.
Oh, okay, so there's a clash between earthly stuff and higher stuff.
Precisely. A kind of internal tug of war. Material desires pulling from below, spiritual aims associated with the heart and head pulling from above.
Like heavenly guidance trying to pull us up while our body wants worldly things.
That's a good way to put it. Heavenly emanations coming down, guiding towards spirit, while the physical body, being earthly, leans towards, earthly pleasure.
And breath is the key to balancing this.
That's what he presents it as. Conscious breathing helps harmonize these forces. It brings that heavenly energy down and integrates it with our physical reality, finds the middle ground.
That's fascinating. He then connects this to something even bigger, doesn't he? The tree of life.
He does. It's a really profound idea. He says our physical body is actually a reflection of the galaxy, and it contains what prophets and saints call the tree of life.
Like the Bodhi tree or the tree of certainty, those symbolic trees.
Exactly those. But he says before we can connect with those trees in, say, paradise, we first need to connect with the tree inside us.
Inside our own bodies.
Where? He points specifically to the lungs. The bronchial tree, you know how it branches out.
Yeah, it does look like an upside down tree.
Right. He calls it the upside down tree within us. And just like a tree cleans the air, our lungs purify waste from our blood.
So the breath coming from this inner tree, it's the starting point.
The first crucial step on that path of interconnection. It's the foundation we keep coming back to.
And this isn't just theory, right? He says actually doing this, focusing on breath, helps with difficulties.
Yes. Developing this awareness can really support you through challenges.
And you can feel it physically.
You might, yeah. He describes how focusing on the breath can lead to tangible sensations. Tingling, maybe, around the heart or chest.
Tingling, like energy moving.
That's the idea. Or warmth in the hands. Signs that energy is starting to flow more freely because of your conscious attention to the breath.
Does it take a long time to feel, or?
That's a good question. It probably varies, Some people might feel subtle shifts pretty quickly. Others might need more consistent practice.
Right.
But he emphasizes these feelings are indicators. You're starting to tap into that inner energy potential.
And this leads to self-healing, energizing oneself.
He suggests that potential is there, yes. By consciously directing the breath, becoming attuned to these subtle energies, you might facilitate your own well-being.
Wow. And he offers specific practices too. Something about light and angels.
Yeah, a very evocative one. He suggests practicing breathing in an ocean of light. Visualizing yourself surrounded by angels, feeling that supportive, divine energy.
So visualization is key here.
And intention. He really stresses the power of association, of focusing your mind, making requests to this divine ocean during meditation or conscious breathing.
Directing your needs and hopes towards that energy source.
Exactly. Using the breath practice as a conduit for that connection and intention.
Okay, so wrapping this up.
Yeah.
We've really dug into Sheikh Nurjan's perspective on breath. It's way more than just air.
Absolutely. It starts with that divine origin, that spark. It holds incredible power for cleansing, for finding inner balance.
And it connects us to deeper realities like that tree of life within, plus the potential for self-healing spiritual connection.
All through becoming conscious of something we do constantly anyway.
Right. Which kind of leads to a final thought for you, the listener. Now that you've heard about the profound significance Sheikh Nurjan gives the breath, how might you start paying a bit more attention to this constant companion? Think about its potential to shift your energy, your spiritual path, maybe starting right now in the moments after listening to this.
Just noticing it, that's the first step, isn't it? Becoming aware.